So engines have been fired up and the karts from DD2 for this Group A versus B are about to head on to this Genk circuit. They've got 11 laps of racing to look forward to, and they'll start the first of their 2 formation laps as they head now on towards the start-finish line. The way the grid lines up after their qualifying sessions yesterday is going to be as follows. Konstantin Scholl was the quickest man throughout the 2 sessions. He came through with a time that was good enough to get him on pole position. 54.318 he achieved. Kevin Ludi from the second session was the quickest of his session. He'll be starting second on this grid. So those are the 2 on the front row. Second row is then going to be Cosimo Durante from Italy, and alongside him Luca Kamali, back for another season of DD2 racing. He was 7th in last year's championship. Back on row 3 we've got the likes of Haraldsgar Kaklis, the Russian, who again has been very impressive so far this weekend. Let's see if he can keep himself towards the front. And he's got Martin Mortensen, a man who steps from seniors to DD2 for this year. Back on row 4 the Brit Barry Pullinger is there in kart 606, and you've got Marco Gottler, the German, in 638 alongside. Then on to row number 5 it's going to be Imke Arts and Oriol Dalmu Caballero, the Spaniard, there in 10th position. On to row 6 we've got Aaron Sherlock again, who does mainly just these rounds here in Belgium. He was with us last year, got a really solid result, and let's see how he gets on this weekend. He starts this heat from row number 6 with Patrick Weinstock alongside. Row 7 then has the Masters man Martin Pearce and Maurice Royer alongside him. Onto row 8 is going to be Christian Davies and Tim Verelst in kart 652, and then row 9 is going to have Andreas Laskaratas and Frank Kanschka. We'll come to him in a minute. He is there on row 9, and Michael Cole failed to get a time in during the qualifying yesterday, so he'll start all the races from the back of the grid. But good news for Michael, he was out he was out this morning in the warm-up session. All seems to be good with that kart. And the one we mentioned in front of him, Frank Kanschka, who was last year's champion within DD2, he only got 2 laps in during qualifying yesterday. He had a kart that seized on that second lap, quite badly in fact, so the team have been hard at work overnight. He was out there this morning in warm-up testing the kart, and he was inside the top 5 places. So Frank, for today, is going to be definitely one to watch out for. He'll be carving his way through the field like a hot knife through butter, so watch out to see what 601 can do. He should be just towards the back of that field somewhere. 601, he is in the red and white machine, or red and white overalls, and of course he is with a brand new team for this year. He steps up to this category. Of course, he's been in this category last year, but he steps up to a new team, VPDR. So let's see how Frank can get on. But there's the 2 guys towards the front, Konstantin Scholl and Kevin Ludi. Kevin Ludi is very good in the wet normally, and he's just as good in the dry as well. So he starts there on that front row, and then just behind those 2, Cosimo Durante, and also you saw Luca Kamali as well on that second row. Final kart was just coming through, being ushered into position by the marshals through turn number 8 and 9, and the drivers now look towards the gantry once they come onto the start finish line, which they're about to do. A little bit of smoke coming from the back of Konstantin's car, nothing to worry about there, that's just a normal procedure to see. But the cart's now up to pace LB very shortly. A little bit spread out here. They should bunch up a little bit more because Thomas Liner won't let them go if they're too far apart. And the race, they're jumping up and down to try and get the karts underway, which they do now. The lights go out, so down towards the first corner, and the first spread out start we've had within the races today. So Konstantin Scholl leads a very pack in towards the first corner. Someone wasn't happy at all there. I think that was Haraldsgar Kaklis, who put his hand in the air to say that wasn't too good with whatever was coming from behind. But they all stream up towards the 4th corner for the first time. Konstantin Scholl is the man that leads the way. Second place and staying in that position looks to be Kevin Ludi. No, Kevin's down to 3rd place. The one that came through there is possibly Cosimo Durante in 2nd place. So the Italian has jumped up. 4th place then is the white overalls of Haraldsgar Kaklis, and then behind that you can see as well in the mix there the kart which has stormily come through, possibly from lower down on the grid, just trying to work out who that is as well. But no change up front, although Kevin Ludi tries to get to 2nd place on the inside of Cosimo Durante. He's then under attack from Haraldsgar Kaklis into the final corner. He has to give way and let him go. He does a nice flick back, cuts to the inside, and Kevin Ludi holds on to his 3rd position as they storm down towards first corner. Here comes a move from Cosimo Durante again. Oh no, that worked very nicely indeed. I thought he'd run out wide there, but he'd managed to hold on to it. Konstantin Scholl was then trying to attack back at turn at number 2, but the Italian, an unknown name to me, doing well here in this first heat. he leads the way on this second lap in towards turn 4. Konstantin Scholl tries to get alongside, which he just about did there, but then more straight line speed for Cosimo means he still holds on for the lead. Through turn 5, Konstantin's made a mistake there, slight mistake, which has allowed Kevin Ludi to go through. He now jumps up into second, and there's lots going on for 4th and 5th as well. We've got Luca Kamali up there and Haraldsgaard Kaklis. Martin Mortensen and Barry Pullinger have both made positions, and watch out for Marco Gottler as well there in 7th position. He's work his way and carve his way through the field within this race. Marco Gottler, the German. But onto the 3rd lap they now go, and look at the lead already for Cosimo Durante. It's up to half a second over Kevin Ludi, who's now jumped through on Konstantin Scholl. 4th place is then going to be Luca Kamali in 6:07. He was in this championship last year, didn't quite finish with inside the top 5. But he'll try and improve on that at the start here of round number 1. Behind, watch out as well for Haraldsgaard Kaklis and Barry Pullinger, who's made up another position. He now jumps into 6th place. He made the move on Martin Mortensen that last time round. And normally, the DD2s are very good in their racing and very clean and fair. And there goes Barry Pullinger for a move on, or tries to make a move on Haraldsgaard Kaklis there. Then looks behind him to say to 6:37, work with me, which he takes no notice of whatsoever, because Martin Mortensen storms through and moves ahead of Barry Pullinger as they work their way once again onto the start-finish line. Just a word about the Masters. There's only one Masters within this race, so Martin will get himself some good points in terms of a better starting position for the pre-final if he can make it through. Martin Pearce is 13th place, which means there's going to be a massive flurry of Masters within the next of our races, which we look forward to in around about 10 minutes time. On towards the back straight now goes still our leader, Cosimo Durante, although he's been closed in this time by Kevin Ludi. Let's have a look at Sector 1. Sector 1 should be quicker for Kevin, even quicker for Konstantin Scholl. 0.2 of a second better than those two ahead now, so he has gone purple in Sector 1. Green for Kevin Ludi and Cosimo Durante, and then there's now a slight gap between 3rd and 4th, which is headed by Luca Kamali. There he is with Haraldsgaard Kaklis, Martin Mortensen, Barry Pullinger and Marco Gottler all within that train, and then again another slight gap back to Aaron Sherlock, who makes a return to the championship this year. But up front it's very close between Cosimo and Kevin. Kevin goes to the inside line, and this should be a change for the lead, which it is, before they even hit the apex of turn number 1. So Kevin goes through. Can Konstantin follow as well? He's looking like he can do so. Not at turn 2 or 3, but definitely can make a move at turn number 4. Although Cosimo goes very defensive, as you'd expect him to do so. And then onto the back straight they head. Can he pick up the turn, maybe make a move at turn 5? Yes, he can. Konstantin goes for it there, and Cosimo has been dropped just like that. Stoney goes from 1st to 3rd. And he's now got to be wary of those two next in line here, because Haraldsgaard Kaklis is not too far adrift. And then just ahead of him is the kart of Luca Kamali, which comes down towards turn number 8. There a little bit further back is the likes of 637, which was Martin Mortensen. There you can see 627, which is Las Caratas down in 15th place. Just a word about Frank Canchar. He's up to 12th place. Six places made within this race so far. So grand job Frank has done. He should be able to get inside the top 10. Don't think he'll quite challenge anyone further up the field from that. But we're only on lap number 5 now, so not quite half race distance. At the end of this one it will be, so still plenty of time to go for Frank. There are your top 4 heading down the back straight for the 6th time, and move there for 3rd place, because through goes Luca Kamali. He's finally got ahead of the 607 kart, which in fact is Luca Kamali. So Cosimo was fighting back there, wasn't he, up into 3rd position. So Durante is 3rd, Haraldsgaard Kaklis there in the white overalls is 4th, Luca Kamali 5th, and then 6th place is Barry Pullinger, who's got once again ahead of both Marco Gottler and Martin Mortensen. So it could be a good end to the race for Barry Pullinger as well. Watch out for kart 606. Under attack for the lead now, down towards the first corner, is Kevin Ludi, the leader. Our pole man, Konstantin Scholl, is all over the back of him now. Can he make a move at turn 2? Not there, so that's one cross made. A move there from Luca Kamali, although Barry Pullinger is trying to get his way past there into 5th place. So watch out for those two, and also watch out for the leaders as well. Again, Kevin Ludi just looks over his shoulder. He's just got to be wary of what Konstantin can do. We know he's very quick across the course of a qualifying lap, and he's seeming to be very quick within this race as well. Just barely a kart's width between them there. as they work their way out of turn number 7. Down towards turn number 8 they go now. There has been a change for 5th, by the way. Barry Pullinger has got now ahead of Luca Kamali, so that has changed, although we need to focus on these two at the front because it's as close as ever between Kevin Ludi and Konstantin Scholl. They come once again back onto the start-finish line. A very good run from Konstantin. Should give him the run down towards the first corner. He's going to pull out at the last possible minute here. In fact, he proves me completely wrong. He stays in tow on the back of Kevin Ludi, and again he'll just bide his time and work his way ever closer to the back of the race leader, which sits there in cart 609. Still no move being made at turn number 4 for the leaders as they make the long run down the back stretch. There has been the move for what's going to be 5th place. Barry Pullinger back ahead of Luca Kamali, but not for long because Luca gets back down the inside line. He makes a mistake and he loses not 1 but 2 positions because through goes Marco Gottler as well in cart 638. So Luca Kamali now starting to feel the pressure from those behind. The next one in line was Martin Mortensen, who will try and get his way through. I think he's just done it, in fact, that move on Luca Kamali. So that's all changing for 6th on backwards. Here is our leader once more though, Kevin Ludi, on towards the start finish line. 8 laps now to be completed. Does he try for a move this time, Charlotte turn 1? No, he doesn't. Again, he's just waiting patiently to make that move. But he's got to get on with the job now because not too far adrift is Cosimo Durante, and also Haraldsgaard Kaklis is up there in 4th position. Those 4 should be pretty comfortable because Barry Pullinger finds himself 2.5 seconds adrift down the road. With him is taking Marco Gottler and now Martin Mortensen in cart 637. Those are the ones you can see on your screen. In fact, that's 3rd place, which is still Cosimo Durante. And in there as well you can see the lights of Marco Gottler. Back to the lead as we go. Still nothing to choose between the top 2. It was a 10th of a second on that previous lap. So Kevin Ludi, again, a wily old racer. He's been around for quite a few years within DD2, so he knows how these karts work on track. Konstantin Scholl pushes on as fast as ever. Heads his way now down towards the first corner. Can he make a move this time? No, he can't. He sits there and just waits in turn. Of course, Kevin Ludi was our 2015 championship position. Doesn't really tell the story for him. He had to count an exclusion at one of the rounds last year. So Kevin Ludi ended up down in 9th position. He did take 2 podiums away from last year and also a top 10 here at Genk on that occasion, which was at the end of last season. And he was also a relative quick man within last year's Winter Cup. 8th place he finished in 2016. This year he finished in 4th place, and at last year's International Open at Adria Raceway he came home in 6th position. So still the potential there for Kevin Ludi, and can he get his weekend off to a storming start with just under 2 laps to go. In fact, near enough 1 lap to go as they come round in towards the final turn. I think Konstantin Scholl has just been waiting over the last few laps to possibly make a move on this last lap. This is where you need to do it, down towards turn number 1. He needs to get the job done, but now Kevin Ludi goes very defensive to try and keep Konstantin behind. There he goes all over the exit curve there at turn number 1, and he launched a move which was very nicely done from Konstantin Scholl. So he now moves ahead of Kevin Ludi at the head of this field. He then goes defensive onto the back straight for the final time, and they've got to be wary of Cosimo Durante here, who is not too far adrift, so it makes it a 3-way scrap on this last lap. Cosimo Durante, the Italian, is coming right into the mix now, and watch out also for Haraldsgaard Kaklis, not too far adrift in 4th position. So this has turned into a cracking end to the race. Konstantin still leads. Kevin Ludi doesn't know which way to go. Does he attack or does he defend? He's got to try and do both as they work their way into the final corner. Oh, there's contact. Haraldsgaard Kaklis got up the inside line there of Cosimo Durante, who will in turn only lose 1 place on this last lap. But what is going to happen for the lead? Kevin Ludi, a great run through the final corner. That's side by side to the line, and Kevin Ludi got squeezed there just slightly from Konstantin Scholl, which he was in his rights to do, of course. And just eke out that gap and of course push as wide as you possibly can. But Kevin Ludi gave it a good shot there to try and get through on our eventual winner, which was Konstantin Scholl. Lots of action on that last lap, but Konstantin comes through with a win of a 10th of a second over Kevin Ludi for the Spirit Racing team. Haraldsgaard Kaklis again just on that last lap to get past Cosimo Durante in 4th place. 5th place was Barry Pullinger. Martin Mortensen stayed where he was after the start to come home in 6th, although he did fall down the order. He then did jump back up. 7th place went to the German Marco Gottler. 8th place in the end. What a drive from the back. That is a good start to his heats for today. That was Frank Kanshar. 9th place then for Michael Kuhl. He made up 10 places from the back as well. He went with Frank Kanshar, making their way through nicely out of the order, and then 10th place Martin Pearce, first and only Masters within that race, because the rest of them will come in our next heat. And then 11th place for Aaron Sherlock, and 12th place was 616 in that race, which was Christian Davies. So another enthralling race from the DD2s. That is our first race done. Another one to follow very shortly here in